to the Andersons podcast, Whiskey Bar podcast here.
Glad to be here, brother.
Man, I do appreciate you being here and everything else. You know, with everything that's going on and whatnot, we have some really busy schedules and everything. So I do appreciate the time that you being here and everything else.
Course,
And
man. Of course.
this is going to be a good one. Man, just to start off, everybody, this is Justin Weeks. He is a entrepreneur, law enforcement, and prior military as well. He's going to share some stories with us and give us some feedback on, becoming an entrepreneur, a father, and a heavy hitter in the big game. So, Justin, if you don't mind, just introduce yourself.
Yeah. So, born and raised right here in Lake Charles. I know we're in Sulphur. I live in Sulphur now, but yeah, I came up the oldest of 5 children, and I think that gave me some sense of wanting to be a protector. Having little brothers and little sisters, and I joined the military on my 17th birthday, believe it or not, and my parents signed a waiver. Went to basic training in 1999 and came back, did my senior year of high school. Then after, went to advanced infantry training in Fort Benning, Georgia, and had a career in the military. I served in Iraq in 2004, 2005 in Baghdad. We lost 32 guys in my unit that year. So it was a rough year. I was 22 years old. In fact, I turned 23 years old when I was in Iraq. It's my golden birthday because I was born on the 23rd of November. But came back. So I was already employed at Lake Charles Police Department before I got deployed. And then I came back and joined the Louisiana State Police. I was a state trooper for almost 8 years. Took a break from law enforcement and got into entrepreneurship. I actually got into entrepreneurship when I was a state trooper and started doing pretty well at it. And my son has autism.
Okay.
My son
and
Jax.
we're going to dig a little deeper into that as well.
Yeah. So my son Jax has autism. So it gave me a sense of wanting to be more present of a father. And when I was a trooper, I taught defensive tactics for the state police. So I'd have to go to Baton Rouge to teach that. I was a SWAT operator towards the end of my career and an interdiction officer. So I did like narcotics interdiction on the interstate. I stayed very busy and I just wasn't home a lot. And when my son had autism and I was making good money as an entrepreneur, I had started a network marketing business and started doing really well. I was, earning 6 figures. I was probably making twice with my network marketing business, twice what I was making as a state trooper and working probably half the time doing that. So I made the decision to come on, be a stay-at-home dad and work from home, which gave me time to be with my family. And it gave me, the time freedom to be more present of a father and to provide more for my family, at the time. So that was a blessing. As I got older, my family dynamic changed and decided to come back to law enforcement a couple of years ago. I came back to Lake Charles Police Department, which is how we met. And I thoroughly enjoy it. It gives me purpose. And, I've always loved law enforcement. I love having that sense of purpose. I love, being a force for good in the world, and this, especially nowadays, it's very obvious, with the recent events that there's a war of good versus evil going on. I really see it that way. And to be a warrior on the positive side of that battle,
Absolutely.
as a force for good gives me a lot of purpose. It gives me, it gives me that sense of I'm doing my duty in the world. You know?
Out of your experience and everything, what would you say that you growing up and everything, what shaped you to being the man that you are today?
I come from very humble beginnings. When I grew up, I was just, I remember getting hand-me-down clothes from my dad's boss's son. He would bring this big black trash bag with like Tommy Hilfiger and starter jackets and all this.
Yeah.
And his name was embroidered in every freaking thing. So my grandma would have to cut his name out of it because I wanted to be able to wear it to school, And I remember we would get cereal in the bags, like not the box brand name cereal, like Lucky Charms or Fruit Loops. We'd get like Circle O's or these off-brand in the bags. Yeah. And I was just thinking, I remember thinking, hey, when I grow up, I'm going to at least make enough money to buy name brand cereal,
Yep.
So I come from very humble beginnings. And so I've always had the desire to be successful, to protect, and to serve, and to, I don't want to go too deep into it, but I had a rough childhood, you know.
Yeah.
So being there for my little brothers and sisters, I think built something subconscious for me to want to protect other people, you know, and so I think that's what shaped me as far as my military and law enforcement background, and then as far as success as an entrepreneur, just knowing what it's like to not have much
Yeah.
and to be able to provide for my family and
Absolutely.
give my kids things that I wasn't able to have maybe when I was a child.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think most men growing up have that feeling. Like, not everybody grew up in a perfect household. They didn't grow up, with a silver spoon and stuff like that. Like, there's people that had to work for what they have, and I definitely see that in you as the person that you love to work, you love to do what's right, and you're always doing what is good for the family, and that's amazing. And a lot of people see it, a lot of people cherish it, and a lot of people don't understand that. You know, they may see the golden boy right now, but how did that golden boy get to where he is now? Because we grew up, I'm kind of in the same, spot. Like, I grew up with almost nothing. I remember cooking hot dogs and ramen noodles, and that's what I ate for dinner for 7 days out of the week. It's just
Mm-hmm.
one of them things. And it's like, I grew up poor, and it's not my family's fault. It's just whenever, the upcoming stuff like that, like, a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
And, um, now we have all these things and stuff, and that we're very humble with it, with the stuff that we have,
Right.
because we didn't have that before. And we built that, mindset that I want this, I'm going to earn to get this, and then I'm going to keep this because this is what I deserve in life.
Right. You appreciate it more when you know what it's
Absolutely.
like not to have it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
that's the one thing that a lot of people don't understand, is like, because most of these people now, they expect handy downs. Like, they expect the handouts and stuff like that. And hey, can I have that? It's like, sure.
Entitled. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand, like, the growing up that, a few years back prior to, you're obviously a lot older than I am, but,
Mm-hmm.
even I grew up in a rough, neighborhood and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Um, you know, what is give me a challenge that you had to overcome in life other than growing up, in, I wouldn't say poverty, but however,
Yeah, I was far from poverty. I
yeah,
mean,
however, being
lower
growing
to
up.
middle class. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trailer park, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But I've I'm very impulsive and I have ADD. So I sometimes like to act without thinking things through. So that's one thing I've learned to do as I've gotten older and more mature is think about things before I say them, think about things, consequences before I act. You know, my first marriage fell apart because of poor decisions I made. And so I've, learned and grew from that. And so it's that's probably one of the biggest challenges I've had to overcome is just
Right.
being wiser and more mature and thinking things through. You know, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I love to fight. You probably know that about
Oh
me. I
yeah.
train.
A big fighter too.
I started boxing when I was in seventh grade. I boxed till I was a freshman in college. I started Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in 2003. So I got my blue belt in 2004, right before I left for Iraq, and came back, trained off and on as I went to the State Police Academy and stuff. I got my purple belt in 2012, and then I've just kind of popped in here and there ever since then, and knocked the rust off, going to an open mat here, open mat there. But now I've actually gotten back into it, and I'm training consistently, and
Yeah.
look forward to seeing it through. So I'm excited about that as well.
So what current belt are you right now?
I still have my purple belt from 2012. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. And you're just
yeah,
now getting kind of like back into it
right. So
in the
I've
game.
trained since then. I mean, I don't know where I'm at skill level. I may be beyond that a little
Yeah.
bit, but because I've trained with a lot of these guys that are brown belts and black belts, I've came up with them. But I'm excited to train consistently and see it through. And I mean, the belt only covers 2 inches of your ass anyway. It's not
Yeah.
that big a deal, but it is it is a sense of accomplishment, to see
Right.
that through. So it doesn't give you any extra skill. It's just a level of recognition, if you will,
Yeah.
for the hard work and consistency and commitment. And so I'm excited to see that through as well. I trained MMA with a lot of guys that fight, professionally and amateur fighters here in the local area. Some that I fought in Bellator and gone on to fight in bigger organizations. So I've always just enjoyed the game. I think it's the purest form of competition between two men. Is you put them on a mat or in a cage or in a ring and let them see who the more skilled
Yeah, the better opponent.
adversary is. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I want to kind of backtrack a little bit for your military. What led you to want to go into the military? What was the reason?
To be completely transparent, I was living in a broken home.
Yeah.
And was ready to get the fuck out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was not afraid to try new things. I had a poster I had a Marines poster on my wall, but the Army recruiter approached me first.
Yeah.
And I just said, yeah, I was like, let's do it. Let's go. I ended up being an Army infantry sergeant when I was in Iraq. I was 11 Bravo. And yeah, so.
Out of your military career, what part in that career do you think shaped the person who you are today?
You learn a lot about discipline. You learn a lot about leadership. I was an NCO. In fact, became a sergeant in 2003 in the Army. And, you go through leadership courses. But really, I think, being in a combat situation, you grow up very quickly. You see what you're made of, the way you're able to handle tough situations, especially at a young age, seeing people killed, having to fight for your life and for your brothers, and you build that camaraderie amongst guys you serve with.
Right.
You have definitely a higher respect for people who have served and have gone through combat situations because, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to be able to compartmentalize your emotions and get through that and come out okay. And I know a lot of my friends still struggle, with that. So, I grew up quick. I had to grow up fast, and then coming back and being in law enforcement, I think it's a good transition because you still have that sense of camaraderie amongst brothers. I liked being a SWAT operator when I was on SWAT at the state police. I'm considering
now is that why you joined law enforcement? Because the military,
I was already. So I ended up joining LCPD right before I got my deployment paper. So I was held over on stop loss when I was in Iraq the first time.
Okay.
So I was actually supposed to ETS in 2004 when I got hired at LCPD. So I got deployed and I got held over on stop loss for a year. Goodness. And so I think the same mindset that led me into law enforcement, that sense of wanting to serve and wanting to protect, I've always had a passion to serve other people for some reason.
Yeah.
And to protect other people. I feel I don't know where it came from. Maybe because I was a small kid, I was a skinny kid. I got bullied a lot when I was a little kid. And then I got into fighting, like I said, middle school. And that confidence made a big difference in how I carried myself. I didn't go pick fights or anything, but I never got messed with after that.
Yeah, to know that they, let them know that I have that level of capability of doing something if you want to start it.
Right. So
to protect yourself, of course.
When I'd see other kids get bullied, I'd have a sense to stand up for them.
Yeah.
And then having little brothers and sisters gave me that sense of wanting to protect them. And I think that just built something in me subconsciously that said, I want to prepare myself to have the ability to stand in between someone who's innocent and can't protect themselves and that opposition force that may want to hurt them or to take advantage of them because they're less capable.
Right.
So I've always wanted to prepare myself to have the ability to fight, to be hard to kill, to be able to protect someone who can't defend themselves, whether it be a child or my wife, my girlfriend or my sister or my mother or my grandmother or a lady at the grocery store who's someone's trying to take her purse, something like that. So just always had that innate sense of developing myself to be the best possible version of myself, you know.
Yeah, I noticed that you love to grapple. Your thing is to grapple because whenever we had guys' night last Sunday, you want it was like
After
almost
a
like
few of these, man, you
yeah,
never
it was
know.
almost like 1 a.m. and it was like, hey, who wants to grapple? It's like I bet you I could beat you. I was like, I'm not the guy to go do that
Hey, one of the
because
guys stepped up, so that
hey,
was
one of the
fun.
guys did step
I
up.
mean, he lasted 23 seconds,
Yeah,
so it
I
was
seen
good.
that. It was not long, but kudos to him for wanting to try. And I
Yeah,
was like,
exactly. I
I know
mean,
I'd get my butt whooped.
oh, there's people that could make me tap out in less than 23
That's
seconds.
crazy.
And I've
That's
been
crazy.
doing this, you know, since, like I said, 2003,
Yeah.
off and on. And there's guys that can make it look like it's my first day. And I think that's what I love about jujitsu. It's like chess. I mean, you could sit here, you play a chess master. There's nothing you could do to beat him. 'Cause, I mean, he's going to be 10 steps ahead of you the whole time. And
Yeah.
that's how jujitsu is. It's a very complex form of martial arts that takes a lot of practice, a lot of discipline, and it's constantly growing and becoming. I mean, it's very innovative. So there's people that are modern day jiu-jitsu specialists, you know, that can do things you just couldn't imagine. You know, you get on a mat with them, they're going to tie you up in a pretzel, and you're going to be like, you're completely helpless.
Yeah. See, I know when I can pick a fight and I know when not to pick a fight.
That's good.
And typically, like,
It's good to have that intuition.
exactly. I'll be honest, like, I know I would not win against you. Now, would I get some punches in or something? Sure.
Maybe so.
But I know at the end of it, I would not, I wouldn't make it. It's like, you're very, you know, you're very confident in your skills and stuff like that. And everybody sees it too. Cause like, you know, there's a few times to where we're on call or something and, you know, you got somebody running from you and somebody resisting the rest. And next thing you know, it's like, it's a one man show out there because we're either tied up on another call or, you know, we're doing something else on the other side of the city. And next thing you know, it's like, all you hear is your number. And next thing you know, it's like, hey, he's running. And I just know you is like you're an adrenaline junkie, so you're chasing after him no matter what. And 9 times out of 10, you get them, unless they jump like a 10-foot
Get a
fence.
little
And then
older. Sometimes it's hard to keep up.
yeah,
But
so and by the time we even get there, he's already detained. So it's just, I definitely know you have that skill
you
level.
did that last night.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That guy who ran for me
I was on
was
the other side of town. I was trying to get to you as fast as I could, but
he was a runner. He was definitely trying to get
yeah,
away
I
from
saw
me.
him.
At that.
I pulled up. He was sweating. He had him handcuffed. I was like, "Hey, good
Yeah,
job, brother."
he tried. He tried. Yeah. Kind of like change things up a little bit. Just to, you know, you say you grew up small and everything else. So, and honestly, like I'm kind of jealous because you drink Jameson a lot, and I know you're always by the side of the pool with your wife. I'm kind of confused on how you still have a 6 pack, and I'm over here. I got to work for mine, and you're older than I am. I'm like, how's that
It's just
work?
be genetics, I guess.
It has to be genetics. How often do you hit the gym in a week?
I don't. I train jujitsu. Yeah, I don't even have a gym membership. I had one for a
That's
little while, but I
wild.
never would go. But I'll do push-ups and stuff and pull-ups, and I do try to stay in somewhat decent shape. I'll play basketball every once in a while with some buddies, and or pickleball or something. Jordan and I played pickleball before.
Yeah.
But I do stay active, you know, and
And that just goes to show with the skill level, it doesn't matter how strong you are. It matters what the technique that you know and you learn from. Because like technique is gonna 9 times out of 10 win over strength.
right.
Because the strength is going to diminish in a fight over time because your muscles are going to get tired. But the technique is always going to be there because, you know, technique doesn't get tired.
Although it never hurts to be strong.
Does not.
It's never gonna serve you to be weaker than the next man.
Yeah.
So I think that being strong is good. You know, and training, you know, preparing yourself, whether it's in law enforcement, military, fighting, leadership, being a good family man, anything that you can do to better yourself personally
Yeah.
is gonna serve you well. And you're never gonna enter a situation and be like, oh, I trained too much for this. You know, especially like in a life or death situation, you're always gonna wish you would have trained harder. And kids should be getting into jujitsu or boxing. I really like jujitsu for kids because it's not a contact sport, but it is it is a contact sport, but you're not punching each other in the face.
Right.
You know, it's grappling, it's submission wrestling, so it's going to give them confidence. Like I was saying earlier, when I started boxing, it just gave me a level of confidence that I carried myself differently. And I never picked fights. I've never been one to pick fights, but it just, you're less of a target to someone because bullies, what they do is they can sense that timidity, or they can
Absolutely.
sense when someone's weak or not so sure of themselves.
Yeah.
And so can criminals. As police officers, having confidence in your ability to fight, to handle someone, you talk to people differently. You look them in the eye when you're talking to them. They can sense that you're not afraid. They can sense that you're, very confident in your capabilities to handle the situation. And that actually de-escalates a situation more than you would think. People that are insecure, that come onto a scene and they're trying to talk shit and rile people up and act big and tough, it creates a situation that is actually unsafe for other officers and
Right.
themselves, because all it does is escalates the situation to where now you have confrontation that wasn't necessary. When you're comfortable in your abilities and you're going to be able to handle whatever situation arises, you'll talk to people with a level of respect. You'll talk to people like they're human beings, and you look them in the eye and they know, hey, look, this guy's he's not trying to big dick me. He's not trying to make me feel small because I'm not a police officer. He's not trying to treat me like I'm less than. He's just talking to me like a human being,
Right.
and
And that's key too, because a lot of
it
people
makes a
think
big difference, dude.
the badge, the badge. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some good cops and there's some bad cops, but when people put
That's
that badge
in
on,
any profession. Yeah,
exactly. But people will put that badge on, think that obviously, yeah, we might have a little more level of power, only due to the fact now we have to, abide by the law and we have to withstand that to everybody. But it's like there's some people out there that kind of like extend it, and and there's that gray area to where they kind of surpass, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this because
they confuse power with authority,
exactly,
and they think that because they may have authority, that it gives them some sense of power over somebody else. When at the end of the day, you're there to do a job. You're there to enforce specific laws and make sure that your community's safer.
yeah,
And you can do that in a professional way, and you can do that in an unprofessional way.
right,
And I think the more we raise our standards and act professionally on the
mm,
job, that it's going to give law enforcement as a whole a better look amongst society. Because now with cell phones and social media and it's the way the world is today, as opposed to maybe when I started 21 years ago in law enforcement, it makes a big difference how you carry yourself out there and how you talk to people and how you treat people.
absolutely,
And we all need to carry ourselves like professionals, and we all need to do our job with integrity.
hmm,
And I think that's going to make a big difference,
yeah,
and shine a positive light on law enforcement.
yeah, integrity is key, and a lot of people fail to understand that too. Because like integrity, like you gotta make sure you're doing the right thing when nobody's looking. It doesn't matter.
100%.
It does not matter if you have the spotlight or not. Like you always gotta be 100% with yourself.
Because sometimes
And
when you think nobody's looking, someone is.
absolutely, I mean, with this day and age, there's cameras everywhere. There's people always watching you.
God's watching.
Like, for example, like we were out on that call yesterday, the guy ran from me and everything else. The neighbor was just sticking his head out the window because he was being a little nosy. But
Mhm.
I mean, everybody's watching. It doesn't matter
Right.
if they see that cop car pull up, they're like, "Oh, what's going on over there?" And they're gonna put their nose in the business
Sure.
what doesn't belong to them. But
It's exciting.
it,
That's why
it
cops has
yeah,
been on TV for what, 3 decades, because I mean, it's an exciting job and people want to be entertained. And I mean, if cops were outside of my door in front of my house and
yeah,
I
you
hear
want to know them.
sirens, I'm probably going to look outside too. It's
Yep,
just, I think we're blessed to have such an exciting job. And I think that's what I love most about it is you just never know what you're going to see. You could be parked up, doing a report 1 minute, and 2 minutes later you're in a foot pursuit chasing a suspect who just beat up his girlfriend.
yep.
So
What is something that you wish people would understand more that you experience in everyday life as a law enforcement officer?
that, as far as the way we're looked at amongst society, people tend to focus on the negative.
Yeah,
Of course, news media, social media, they focus on things that are going to get a rise out of people, and most of the time that's
Yeah.
negativity.
And there's a
Because
lot of negativity in this world,
so
unfortunately.
understand, with every profession, you're going to have your bad apples, and whether it, I mean, be teachers. There's some teacher out there that's, made some poor decisions and made the teachers look bad. Sometimes there's police officers that may make cops look bad, but we're out there doing the best we can, and we put our lives on the line for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
As far as what we're paid to do, what we do is we don't do it for the money.
No,
We
absolutely
do it
not.
because we want to serve and protect. We experience a lot of traumatic events, whether it be a crash where a child gets hurt or killed, whether it be, a fight on the side of the road and we're fighting for our life because the person's hopped up on PCP or, some kind of narcotic or stimulant that's making them act
Yeah.
out, and we're having to protect ourselves, and we're leaving our family at home unprotected to come out and protect our community for, like I said, not a lot of money. And the job's not easy. We work hard, we train hard, we do the best we can. So I
Yeah.
ask that people give our society, I mean, I ask that society, other people, give our profession grace and
Absolutely.
understanding, knowing, hey, look, what we do is not easy, and there are going to be people who make mistakes, and don't judge us as a whole based off of those few incidents. To 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 look at us as a positive force in this world, and that we're a force for good, and
Right.
like I said, in the fight against good and evil, we're definitely out there trying to make a positive difference.
Absolutely.
And a lot of these people that, you know, talk shit about cops on social media and things like that, or you'll see a post about police officers, and you'll see laugh emojis and comments, just ugly comments. If these people, someone's breaking in their house and holding their family hostage, and they're going to want police officers showing up to save their life. And
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, who else you gonna call? I mean, at the end of the day, if with how things are going, stuff like that, it's like a lot of people are timid. A lot of people don't
we're a
understand like the
necessary
security.
force. It's
Yeah.
a necessary part of society that has to exist. Otherwise, you'll have chaos, and you need that order in the world.
Yeah.
And we're blessed to be able to be in the position to do that. And I don't take that lightly. I don't take my job lightly, and I don't take I don't take that position of authority lightly. And I
Right.
try to do it the best I can to where people feel safe when we're
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely. I mean, they don't call us for a good time. They always call us for a bad time.
Yeah.
And with that being said, it's like what is a memory that you remember or that you can go back on for the time that you have served in law enforcement? What's one of give me like a story of the best time that you had to maybe one of the worst that you've had if you want to share it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean you don't have to, but
Sure.
maybe for the viewers and stuff like that, maybe they want to know what yeah, there's some good times that we have on this job,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, but there's also some devastating times that we have, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand like the trauma, the PTSD, and everything that we
Mm-hmm.
go through. It's real, and
Right.
not only are we in the military and stuff like that, and we live that life in the military, but now we also deal with everyday life. Now
Mm-hmm.
we're dealing with the people that they're not calling us for a good time; they're calling us for a bad time, and it's unfortunate, but it's the world that we live in. But give me a story of a good time, and if you want, share something with a bad time that you've had.
So one of the more exciting calls that I've had. So when I was a state trooper, I was assigned to Jeff Davis Parish for. It was when all the murders were happening in Jennings. These girls were coming up, uh, like finding these. I think it was the Jennings Six or something like that. I don't know. It's girls. There's lots of murders happening. And in 2010, I got sent to Jeff Davis Parish. It was me and three other troopers for a special task force to like try to help with the crime and stuff over there
Yeah,
in Jennings and Welsh. And I made 56 drug arrests in like 90 days when I was up there.
that's insane.
So yeah, so it was intense. one guy, I pull up on this guy sitting in his car on the side of the road. He was I pull up. I didn't think the car was occupied. I pull up on the side. I see it was occupied, and he was like doing something. And he got spooked by my unit. So I back up. I hit my blue lights while he takes off. So we're in a pursuit. We're in a vehicle pursuit, and we're going. This is daytime. It's like in the middle of the day. We're going all around the city. This is in Jennings, and we hit this dead end road, and we're going up to the end of the dead end road. Well, I think he's going to bail out because there's nowhere else for him to go.
Yeah.
So I jump out of my unit and I get out and I start running up to the car. Well, he keeps driving around the house at the end of the dead end road. And then behind the house was like this field that was, the grass was really grown up, and it was a field. And so the car wasn't driving really fast because the grass was really tall. Well, I run up and I get all the way up onto the side of the car, and I'm running, and I open the door. It was unlocked. And I opened the door and I said, get out of the car. And I start trying to grab the guy. Well, he takes off even faster. I guess he was able to go faster than he was going at the time when I caught up to him. Well, I grabbed the inside of the door here and the roof, and I'm dragging, and my feet are going like under the car,
being
like
dragged.
caught, like pulled under the car. So I'm like, I said, I'm gonna fucking shoot you. I said, I'm gonna shoot you in your fucking head if you don't stop. Like, I was scared for my life. I thought I was gonna get sucked under the car and run over.
Yeah.
And so we're going. He's like, "Why are you going to shoot me?" He's like talking to me. I'm like, "Stop!" I said, I said, "Stop, or I'm going to shoot you." And I was like holding on. My freaking hands were like slipping off the car, and I was like genuinely afraid I was about to get pulled under the car.
Right. Absolutely. As I would too.
So he slows down enough when we're talking that I catch my feet, and I'm able to get my feet under, and I just grab him by like his ears and like his head and everything, and I just fall, and he comes out of the car with me. And the car keeps rolling. There was like a gully. It was like going towards a gully where the car ended up rolling to a stop. The grass stopped the car. And we ended up arresting him, and he had drugs and stuff in the car. And that was one of the times I remember I was like, man, I felt like I was like in a movie or something, like an action movie, or, because you see these kind of things on TV, and when you experience them, you're just like, man, that was wild. And it worked out. So that was an exciting call that has stuck with me over the years. But I think that most favorite moments in law enforcement are like the poker night we had the other night.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with my buddies.
Yep.
When I was on SWAT, just being with you guys, and just
The morale,
but that sense of brotherhood,
Absolutely.
and that's what I missed most about the military in Iraq. And those are my favorite times, man. Those are the times you look back, because everybody has the same experiences that you do. They experience that, those high, intense moments, and the slow, monotonous times, but everything that comes with this job, the range of emotions. It's a very, wide range of things that we experience, which makes the job attractive to me.
Absolutely.
Just because you don't know what to expect, but you know that these people experience the same things you do, and you're very like-minded because it's something attracted them to this job, just like it attracted you to the job. So you have, you relate to these people, and just to hang back and just chill, things like this, just getting to open up and talk about it, and just, being with your boys, man. That's my favorite part.
And that's one thing I miss the most about, me being in the military and veteran and everything else. Like, that's one thing I do miss the most is like hanging out with the boys, like going out.
There's nothing better, bro.
Hey, going out, having fun, doing some stupid stuff, like obviously nothing illegal, but being able to enjoy life and not have a worry in the world that, it's just you and the boys.
Knowing you're around people that have your back.
Yeah, absolutely. And no matter what would happen, it's like,
no matter what happens to you,
I got you. It's like, that's just how it is. And that's why, like, whenever we start hanging out again, like, I remember the stories that were told whenever when I got hired on at Lake Charles PD. I was told, hey, it's like we used to have these and stuff like that. So I actually started a little group south, where we work. And like, I brought a grill and I put it in the back of my unit. And so like,
I remember that.
Yeah. So like, we would grill in the back of the unit. And obviously I had a table and stuff, but I'd bring it out and, we would grill, or we'd go to a park or something and grill. And it's like,
we did it behind that church.
Oh yeah. The church. Yep. And it's just one of them things. Like, I remember everybody talking about how they used to do that, but then it stopped due to like certain supervisors, stuff like that, and maybe the call volume stuff. But however, it's like I wanted to bring that back because I could tell. Like I come from the military as well, and like with the morale and stuff, what
Mhm.
I missed, like
Morale matters, man.
I
It
I
does.
wanted that back. So it's like I'm going to slowly introduce the morale back to the guys,
Mhm.
and I think it worked
It's
because
important.
whenever I put in everybody in that group chat, everybody that wanted to hang out and stuff like that, and that's whenever we started going to the casino or
Yeah.
going out having guys dinner dates and stuff like that. It was just one of them things that, hey, let's go get a drink or something like that, and then
Yeah.
now we're playing poker at the house and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
it's a good time because now you're telling stories to one
Yeah.
another, you're hanging out with the boys, don't gotta worry about anything. Like it's just one of them things where the morale and the brotherhood is important.
Right.
And I was asked whenever I got hired on, it was like, what's the one thing, like, why do you want to be back in the uniform? And that question stuck with me. And I gave him the answer that meant the most to me is that uniform gives me a sense of purpose like it did in the military. When you put on that green and you're doing your job every single day,
Mhm.
it's one of the things that it sticks with you because, you go to work in the military, it's different because obviously you have hundreds of MOSs and stuff like that. But I was 11 Bravo infantry as well. I was part of the scout platoons, did all the cool guy stuff, rappelling, shooting good old snipers, stuff like that. But it's like, even when the darkest times, you're rucking with a 130-pound soaking wet ruck and you're going 13 clicks, and the morale with the boys is like, hey, we got this. We're gonna keep on trucking along. And I think
Suffering builds camaraderie. When you
absolutely,
suffer with your friends, it builds a closer bond. That's
absolutely,
why war veterans, police officers, uh, similar professions, when you suffer with your friends, it builds something special.
yeah,
And I'm not against suffering. I think it's important as a man. I think we should suffer. I think that that's part of becoming a man, and sometimes it has to be self-inflicted suffering, like working out,
yep,
putting yourself in a cold plunge, putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation. It builds mental fortitude. That's why I like fighting and jujitsu, and I like doing things that are going to cause me to suffer because like the old adage, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's a
absolutely,
real thing.
it is,
And and I think like what you're saying about morale and leadership is important. Everything rises and falls on leadership.
absolutely,
And leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It's not a position, it's not a rank, it's influence. And leadership is not taken as serious in some professions as it should be, but especially in law enforcement, it should be taken very serious because it matters as far as your team, your shift, your just like in the military, your platoon or your squad or your company or your brigade. It's important to to influence your people to want to work for you
absolutely,
and to want to do a good job and to know that you have their back.
yeah.
And
And that's the most important part too, is like knowing that the person that you're gonna work with every single day has your back no matter
mhm,
what. Like it doesn't matter how big the fight is. Like, hey, bro, I got you.
dude,
Don't you
if I
worry.
come out of the
You are
bat,
going
I come
home.
out of the bathroom in the club, and my boys are fighting. Dude, I'm fighting.
Hey,
You could be my
we going
buddy could
home.
be in the wrong, and I'm swinging on everybody that's in that other person's crew, and then,
Yep.
then afterwards we could figure out what happened,
Yep.
but
My
yeah,
boys are in trouble. That means I'm
man, my
joining.
buddy's fighting, I'm fighting.
Yep.
We're gonna go down together, or we're gonna all get in trouble together, and we can work it out. But boys will be
Absolutely.
boys,
Boys will be
man.
boys.
But but yeah, man, I love having that brotherhood that we have. And
Yeah. And it's becoming stronger too. I've noticing it.
I like our department. I
Dude,
like
I
I
love
like
it.
where we work.
I love
I
it.
really do because you know nothing against the state police. I enjoyed working as a state trooper. But we have a certain culture. We have a specific culture at LCPD that always attracted me to come back
Yeah.
there, and that's where I started originally. And I think that we have a lot of good people in good leadership positions. Which with civil service, it could be hit and miss because you're promoted on time and grade, not based off necessarily off performance.
Yep.
But but I think we really lucked out at our department. We have some really good people in some really good positions,
Absolutely.
and
Clean with the new DC coming in, stuff like
yeah,
that, the
yeah,
mayor, things are going to change, and
yeah,
I believe it's going to change for the good too. Because and I'm not saying that prior administration was
right.
bad, but the new level of administration coming in is going to set the standard, and it's going to be good. I think a lot of good changes are going to happen. I think a lot of benefits going to come to us and stuff, because unfortunately, like you said, we don't get paid a whole lot,
Right.
and we deal with everyday's every people's problems. Like we are not called for a good time. We have to deal with
Yeah.
your problems, and we have to set aside our problems. Now obviously we have, like, we can go to counseling and stuff like that. I'm in counseling. Does it help? Absolutely. But it's still one of them things, like, hey, it's like we need to level this out, level out the playing field, because these boys and girls, they're going out here and they're defending the front line now on our country's ground, and they're defending the people that are weak, that cannot defend themselves.
It's always good to have a good friend too that you can depend on
Absolutely.
at work. We call them battle buddies in the
Yep.
military, right? And then in law enforcement, it didn't hurt to have a battle buddy.
Does not.
Just somebody you can call, like you're not feeling yourself, or just need somebody to talk to, somebody to push you to work harder, somebody to run with on the streets. You know,
Yeah. Who do you have in in our police department that you would say that would benefit you?
so me and Bro are super close.
I knew it. I knew
Yeah,
it.
so me and Bro are boys. We think a lot alike. We like the same type of things that as far as specific areas we like to work. We like to chase dope and guns.
Yeah. And bro's really good at that too.
It's very good.
You both are very good at it,
Yeah.
and it's very noticeable too, because I don't think we have any other heavy hitters in the department quite just like the both of you, that, you know, it's every day. That's what you guys get. You will get an arrest no matter what, and it's gonna be for drugs. It's gonna be for guns, whether it be felony or whatever. And I have noticed that. So
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a lot of good officers in our
absolutely.
department on our shift, and there's a lot of other good officers on our shift that are highly qualified to go out and make felony arrests, and different people are at different times in their lives. Where some are in the mood to go out and get it and be proactive. Some just kind of hold back and
Yep.
handle calls, and it's to each his own. And they're maybe at different points in their career where they more hungry to go out and make things happen, or
Yeah.
to stand back and be more reactive as opposed to proactive. They're just more reactive when they get called. They're available to go out and handle things and respond. But yeah, it's good to have people that like to run with you, because it motivates you to get out
Absolutely.
and get after it.
Absolutely.
But
It's always good to have that person too, that, with the things that we deal with every day, it's good to have that person to be able to, hey man, can I call you for a second and kind of tell you
mhm,
how I feel and stuff like that? Because, another thing about this podcast is, like, not only is it about the whiskey, the bourbon, stuff like that, or, the law enforcement, the military, entrepreneurship, it's also about men's mental health, which is a dying thing that a lot of people don't understand, that we go through so much, because we some of us grow up poor. We have to then learn how to become a man at a young age to feed our families,
mhm.
to defend our families, stuff like that. And a lot of people don't understand that men's mental health is very important, because if you want a healthy guy in a relationship or in life, you have to understand that he has to be able to express certain feelings and stuff like that. And not a lot of us, like military, we are the worst at expressing feelings. I feel like I know I am. I'm not the greatest at expressing, but however, it's like one of the things that you have to understand, that if we're silent, is because we're fighting the demons inside of our heads, and we're trying to figure out how we can get out of that dark hole.
Yeah.
And that's what I want this podcast also to be about, of men's mental health. Like, don't be afraid to express how you feel,
Mhm.
because it's not diminishing who you are as a person. It's proven to the fact that you are a human that has feelings and such like that. And
I have an interesting take on this whole subject.
go ahead. I want to hear this.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck really how I feel about anything. I just act based off of what I know I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I don't live to be happy. Like, so I used to do that. I used to focus on like being happy and like, oh, how I feel, or am I feeling depressed or anxious, because I deal with a lot of high anxiety. And then I stopped giving it any weight. I
Yeah.
stopped. I said, you know what? I'm a man, and I'm not on this earth to be happy. If my family's safe and healthy, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
But as far as being happy, what that caused me to do was go down a path of looking for pleasure and looking for, which often led to things that weren't necessarily probably the best for me.
Yeah.
And so I stopped giving it any weight. Like, I'm not here to be happy. I'm going to act. I'm going to do what I need to do, regardless of how I feel about it. If a person that goes, I heard a influencer say this one time, and it hit me pretty hard. A person that goes to the gym when he only feels like going to the gym is not going to perform near as high as someone who goes to the gym when they don't feel like going to the gym.
Yep.
Right? They go because they don't go when they feel like it. They go because they know it has to be done. And I think that can relate to everything in a man's life. You act based on what you know needs to be done, not how you feel. Depression to me is not a disease. It's not something that you catch from the sky. It's if you believe in it, you're more susceptible to having it. That same influencer said, if you and I are sleeping in a house, and you believe in ghosts and I don't believe in ghosts, and you hear a sound in the night and you believe in ghosts, you're gonna be all scared and not gonna be able to sleep because you think it's a ghost because you believe in ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts. I'm gonna roll over and go to sleep. It's the wind made a noise, and
Right.
it's not gonna bother me. I think it's the same with depression, anxiety, and things like that.
Yeah.
I think the more that you give it, that you believe in it, and you think it's some disease that can take control of you, that it's going to affect you that way. I think our minds are very strong. And like I was saying at the beginning of the podcast, how I'm able to compartmentalize my emotions,
Yeah.
that I think it's the same way with mental health. I think the more that you believe and you give that stuff weight, the more susceptible you are to falling victim to it. And I think that if you're like, hey, you know what, I'm a man, I'm going to act regardless of how I feel. I'm going to do what needs to be done, regardless of my emotions and how happy I am or how sad I am or how, this is what has to be done. And that's what I'm going to do because I'm a man. I'll leave the happiness to the girls and the children.
Yeah.
They could be happy. When I'm in elementary school playing kickball and playing with our friends, we could be happy playing Ring Around the Rosies or whatever. But now we're adults, we're grown up, we're men. It's our job to protect other people. It's our job to build ourselves to be the most formidable, capable, strong,
Absolutely.
hard to kill. And we got to wake up and say, hey, I'm going to perform this way, regardless if I'm happy, sad, upset, angry.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because we still have to perform.
Yeah.
I think of people in other countries and third world countries and people that their kids are suffering through leukemia, or they're just lost their wife, or it's just there's so many things that are tragic in life that can happen that will give someone a genuine reason to be unhappy. And I look at my life and I look at, I'm like, man, I'm not dealing with any of that stuff. My kids are healthy. Like, I have no reason to pout, be unhappy, wake up sad or upset. Every decision I've made in my life has got me where I am today. I think as men, we should hold ourselves accountable for everything that happens in our life. It's our fault. It's our fault. Whether it's a failed relationship, whether it's a promotion at work, whether we get wet when we walk outside, it starts raining. It's our fault. We didn't bring an umbrella, right?
Right.
Everything we should hold ourselves accountable and take. There's a book called Extreme Ownership. Jocko Willink. I don't know if you read that book. He says, you got to take ownership for everything. One of the things he talks about in that book, as far as leadership, he says there's no such thing as bad teams, only bad leaders. But we lead our lives as men. We lead our families.
Yep.
We lead our when we're at work, we're leaders. Even if you're not in a leadership position, how you carry yourself and the example you set for your peers and your other employees is a position of leadership. And I think that we should hold ourselves accountable as men to act regardless of how we feel, that we should put ourselves through intentional suffering on a daily basis to build mental toughness and to be stronger and harder to kill and to more capable to defend other people and to protect ourselves and our families and our friends and our buddies. Um, and I think that that mental health is important, but I think it's how you approach that subject is going to matter as
Yeah.
far as how you're able to handle it. And I think if you go in and say, "Hey, you know what? I don't believe in it. I don't believe that it has power over me. That I believe in my own mind and I have control over my own mind." And that's the only thing that we can't control in this world. We can't control what happens to us. We can't control, uh, you know, there's very few things that we can control, but one thing that we can control is how we think, and how you think is going to determine how you live your life, and
Right.
more than people realize, because you get in life what you expect, and you get in life what you attract, and you attract things to yourself by how you think.
So with that being said, what advice do you have for giving a man that is struggling to, not only provide for the family and stuff like that, but being able to provide for himself and not I guess not giving a fuck, but being able to understand, hey, he's like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to do this not only for my family to make sure they are happy, they have what they need, but I also need to make sure that I'm going to be okay no matter what. What kind of advice would you give a guy who is struggling in that everyday life to understand that, he
To
does
quit
matter?
feeling sorry for yourself and to be a fucking man and to get up and make it happen. Because if you don't, then who is? Are you going to leave it up to your wife to do it? Are you going to leave it up to your kids to provide for your family? Or are you going to step up as a man and say, "Hey, you know what? This is my responsibility and I'm going to make it happen. Come hell or high water. If my kids are on the other side of a burning forest, I'm gonna run through the forest to protect my kids.
Yeah.
If they're on the other side of a 50-foot brick wall, I'm gonna run through the brick wall. I'm gonna get beat up. I'm gonna come out injured and hurt and bleeding, but there's nothing that's gonna stop me from getting to my children. It's all about the why.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give you an example. Maybe I think I talked about this on his podcast. It's a great example of why the why is more important than the how or the what's and all that. The why is where you got to find it. So if I put a center block right here and across the room, let's just say across your living room, about 30 feet, I put another center block. It's a foot off the ground with a 2x8. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, you walk across this board, I'm going to give you $100 bill. Walk across that board from center block to center block. It's 2x8. Just walk across $100 bill. You probably can do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
$100. I mean, she's
Yeah.
there's
$100 richer.
Yeah, yeah. Now I take that same board and I put it across 2 skyscrapers in New York, right? And it's thousands of feet off the ground, and you got that board. You walk across. I'm gonna give you $100. You still gonna
A lot of people are
do
gonna
it?
say no.
Right,
Well,
of
I'm an
course.
adrenaline
But
junkie.
yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. As long as I have a parachute.
Most people say no.
Yeah, but
right?
no,
Because if you
yeah.
fall, you're dead. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now you take those same 2 buildings, you put them across. The other building's on fire, and your kids are in the window screaming, "Daddy, Daddy, come save me, Daddy, Daddy."
Without a doubt.
You're going across the board,
Absolutely.
right? Because the why matters.
Yep.
So when you figure out why you want to do something, the how part will work itself out. That part doesn't matter anymore. So when you are feeling sorry for yourself, you're feeling down, you're feeling, well, I'm not happy, I'm anxious, or I'm feeling depressed. You're forgetting why you're on this planet. You're forgetting why you need to get up and do what you got to do, regardless of how you feel, because the people who are counting on you to get it done. And as a man, we have to forget about our feelings. We have to forget about the being sad or anxious or depressed and say, hey, if I don't get up and get my ass out of bed and get this job done, what's necessary and what has to be done for my family, then who's going to do it? Nobody's going to do it.
Right.
And there's people who are counting on me. There's people who are looking up to me. There's people who I'm setting an example for. And if I don't get these things done, then they're not going to happen, So that's how I approach that mental health situation. Now I understand it is important, and it's good to have buddies you can lean on. And there's a darkness that we enter sometimes that it's hard to crawl out of.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been, some of the places that we've been. But that's how I put it in perspective. That's how I get myself out of that place. I say, you know what? Fuck that, man.
Yeah.
No.
I have a similar mindset. However, I do look at things a little different than you do. As any person's gonna look a little different than,
Yeah, of
the
course.
same. Nobody's the same,
Right.
Um, you know, growing up and stuff like that, obviously, like you have your childhood trauma, and then you have the military trauma, going to law enforcement trauma, stuff like that. Like I do perceive things a little different. How I try to communicate, but it's
Mhm.
like one of the things of, hey, it's like if I communicate, this is gonna be used against me. I don't like that. Like, hey, I'm telling you how I feel about the situation. I'm telling you how my mental health is mattering and how I feel to you, and it gets. I mean, most people sometimes use it against you and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
um, I'm a very bad communicator. I'll admit to that. So that's why I go to
And that
counseling.
could be improved upon.
Absolutely. And that's
And
why I
that's
go to counseling and stuff like that, because I need to improve upon it, because I want to, no matter if it's a friend or if it's, my future wife, whoever it may be, I want to be able to communicate that, because there's mental struggles I go through every single day. Like there's demons that I fight
Mhm.
no matter what. And it's the things I've seen, the people, that I deal with in every day, the problems, dude. It's just, it's one of them things that
Can't give it too much weight.
yeah, it's like I put all that weight on my shoulders because I feel I put myself at a high
So let
standard.
me ask you, why does it affect you that way? Like, how are you letting it like get to you? Because I deal with a lot of the same people and I deal with a lot of the same stress.
Yeah.
And it's like, what causes it? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but I'm saying like, why does it hold so much weight on you? Like, why do you feel such a uh, like connection to that? And like, how are you not able to separate yourself from that? Like after the call ends and after you're done dealing with this dumbass who's causing you stress and or whatever, why does it stay with you? If you don't mind me asking.
Because I think it's because I relate to most of the things that we go through. My upcoming, my upbringing, stuff like that as a child was not perfect. My parents split whenever I was 5 years old.
Mhm. Same.
I was back and forth, between, living with my dad, living with my mom, stuff. My dad was in the military. My father, he would be gone for years at a time for
Mhm.
service and stuff. And then growing up, not it's my mom's fault, but it's like I went and I did what I wanted to do. So then, but I also seen that she was going through multiple relationships at a time that then affected me. And now, I seen her get beat up. I seen her go through this. I got beaten up by some of her boyfriends and stuff like that. And now when I go to like say a domestic call or something like that, now I relate to that. I understand
Sure.
what they're going through. And I've also been in relationships that were domestic. Like I've been hit before. And it's one of the things that they take a toll on you.
Mhm.
And I try not to let it eat at me, but it's like one of the things, like I relate so much to these people where sometimes I give them a
But that's
story.
good though, because it
Like I
allows you to have empathy for their
absolutely,
situation.
and I think that's also made it like a little bit of a problem too, because then I relate so much to where I then put myself as responsible for what happened in
Mhm.
that, and that's my fault. That's how I look at it sometimes. So I put myself as responsible for what happened because
But you weren't
I should
responsible as a
exactly
child.
I should have been able to stop that. And that's why growing up, becoming a man and stuff like that is like I grew up when I was 12 years old. I had to make sure I went and mowed yards to put food on the table because my mom was working two jobs.
Mhm.
I remember eating ramen noodles every single day
Yeah.
because my mom couldn't afford. It's
Right.
like one of them things that it's a struggle every single day,
Mhm.
and I fight it every single day. So it's like,
Yeah.
at what point in my life do I stop and I understand?
Yeah.
Hey, this is gonna be okay.
But that
Like
made you who the man you are today.
absolutely, and I'm
And there's
blessed,
nothing
and
there's
it's
nothing wrong with that because had you not gone through that, you wouldn't be who you are today.
yeah,
So understand that was part of building you up to be who you are, to know that, hey, that these things I went through created this man that I am today to where now I can empathize with these people in their situation to make sure the people that are causing this harm to this family are held accountable because I know what these children are going through,
yeah,
what this wife is going through. And you can you can relate to that person and you know what the pain that it causes that it caused to you as a child. You know that it created this monster that says, hey, you know what, I'm going to be as strong as I can possibly be. I'm going to be as fit as I possibly can be. I'm going to put myself in a profession that puts me in a position to be able to help these people stay safe.
yeah,
And when jackass can't protect them in their own house, they know that they can call me and I'm going to show up in my patrol unit and I'm going to bust in the door and I'm going to protect that person like the lady you helped last night
yeah,
and chase the guy down that choked her and busted through her door and put her kids in danger and scared her to where she didn't even want to call the police because she was trying to lie to you the whole night because she was afraid her boyfriend said he was going to kill her if he went to jail.
Yeah.
And you're able to step in and say, hey, you know what? I got your back. He's going to be put in a cage where he belongs. And we're going to notify you before he gets out. And you can protect you and yourself and your kids because you showed up and you
Yeah.
kept her safe because of the person that you became by building yourself up to be capable enough to chase that guy down when he tried to run from you and catch him and put him in handcuffs.
Yeah.
And had these traumatic things not happen to you growing up, you may not have become the person you are today. You might not have that innate desire to be fit and strong and to become a police officer and to get into the military and to be the man that you are today. So just know that was necessary building blocks to build the Brandon Anderson that you are today. And it was part of the process. It's part of the process of becoming a man is trauma and pain. But what you can't do is let it overtake you. You can't let it consume your mind and victimize you to be like, hey, I'm weaker because these things happen to me. You're not weaker, dude. You were a child, and understand that it wasn't your responsibility at that time in your life to prevent these things from happening. They happened, and there's no going back and changing if they happen. But that now you're stronger because those things happened.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that being able to understand and relate to your past and know that, hey, I've been through some tough shit, man. And it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right that you've been through some tough stuff because it's part of who we are. And you can't have light without dark, So when going through these dark times in your life is going to make you appreciate the light. And now when you get into a relationship that's not abusive, and when you get into a home where you're not eating ramen noodles, I mean, you live in a very nice house, dude.
Thank you.
Motorcycle, nice truck, a boat out there.
Thank you.
I mean, you got to appreciate these things.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at this podcast you're starting. Now you're putting yourself in a position of influence to make a difference in some other man's life that may be listening to this on YouTube today. That say, hey, you know what? I've been through some of that same stuff, and I feel where he's at. I saw the tears in your eyes when you were talking. I could tell it really matters to you, And I think this is a good thing of what you're doing. I think it's going to reach a lot of people, and I think it's going to make a positive impact in a lot of men's lives that can relate to your story and to the guest stories that you bring on. And I think that it's going to shine a positive light in the world that's necessary, and that's going to make a big difference. So I applaud you on that, and I commend you for putting the effort to put all this together, because there's a lot of money that you invested into this on a whim that it's going to say, hey, I'm gonna create a podcast that I'm gonna get my buddy Jordan Sellers over here, someone who's an expert in this. I'm gonna pay somebody to help me put this thing together. I'm gonna open up and express emotions that may make me look vulnerable, but I'm gonna do it in an attempt to reach somebody out there that may need to listen. There may be one person that hears this that may be sitting on the edge of their bed with a 9mm on their fucking lap saying, hey, I can't do this anymore. And they hear your story or hear a guest story on your podcast that says, you know what, I'm gonna give this another day, man. My kids need me, or my wife needs me, or I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna make a difference in this world, or I'm gonna toughen up. I'm gonna man up and act regardless of how I feel, and I'm gonna hit the gym. I want to get like Brandon. I want to put myself in shape. I want to, join the military or become a police officer,
and I think that's where I stemmed the gym, because the gym helps me out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like
strong body creates a strong mind.
Absolutely. And that's
They're
the thing.
connected.
Like, I put myself through pain every single day to make sure that I feel better at the end of it. And I think that's where I put myself in that position to where if I go to the gym today, even though I don't want to, I'm still going to create the person that I want to be. Because am I struggling? Yes. But I can put all my anger, all my anxiety, my depression, everything into
This may
those
be
weights.
just for you as much as it is for everybody else.
Absolutely.
But hey, that's okay.
Yep.
It's okay, because it's a positive outcome regardless. And there's nothing negative that could come out of this other than you being able to open up, relate to guests, put yourself out there to the world to impact people in a positive way, to shine a positive light on your profession. And like I said, I commend you for doing it, man. Cheers, man.
Cheers, brother.
I'm
I
proud of you for
appreciate
taking the step in the right direction to make a positive difference, man. A lot of people think about things, they talk about things, but you're a doer. I mean, you put all this together and you did it. So
And
I'm honored to be your first official guest on the
Yep.
podcast, and I hope it gets out there and I hope it makes a difference.
My goal with this podcast is not only to benefit myself, but benefit hundreds of thousands of people, possibly millions in the future. Like, this is something that I will do every time because this is something that I created, something that I want to be able to benefit not only myself, but for other people.
I believe in you, man.
Because I think
I believe in you, and I think you can do it.
I appreciate it because I feel like this is very important. I'm not going to be a cop forever. Right? This is something that I want to do, maybe possibly full time, in the future. And I do appreciate you, being my first guest and everything else. And
It was my pleasure.
I definitely want you back on because I want to get into the entrepreneur side of you because you are a smart man in that business world. And I think it would be very beneficial for the people that want to know about entrepreneurship.
This will be part one. We'll hit them with the part two later. We'll go into the world of entrepreneurship and personal development, and I'll try to add some value there as well.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Well, to everybody, I just want to say thank you for Jordan Sellers for putting this on, for allowing me to learn from him from the best and everything here out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. I also want to thank Evans Gas Station out of Lake Charles. He's been a big help. He donated a lot of this liquor and stuff like that. A buddy of mine, Dakota, who helped me put this podcast on as well. He helped me build some of this stuff. And everybody else that I might have forgot, I just want to say thank you. Everybody who's watching, I appreciate you. I love you. And I want to thank you for tuning in and listening. Go to my YouTube channel at Anderson Whiskey's Bar Podcast. Like, subscribe, and put on that notification bell. And don't miss the next one because it's going to be good as well. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Awesome. Good job, brother.